So as we all know, the Trailblazers just traded for all-star guard Ja Morant. And with Damian Lillard coming back from his Achilles tear, it's looking like the backcourt for the Blazers will be Damian Lillard and Ja Morant starting. But the Blazers also have Drew Holiday and Scoot Henderson now on the roster, who are 2 point guards as well. And when they were both on the court with Toumani Camara, Denny, and Klingon, they were actually the best 5-man lineup for the Blazers last season. And don't forget, the team also has Shaedon Sharpe, the dunk highlight machine, and the blossoming young player. And I feel like everyone forgets that he literally averaged 21 points per game last season. Yes, he was a 21 point per game scorer already in his career. That is insane. And while some people see this guard depth for the Blazers as a really good thing, there's also a lot of people that see it as a really bad thing, being undersized and not having enough wings. But the new Blazers head coach Mike Inori actually came out and sees this as an opportunity, saying, I just see a lot of players with good passing IQ that can handle the ball. However, that hasn't stopped fans from voicing their concern with the undersized lineup, saying that we should trade one of the guards for a forward or someone that can back up Denny or Toumani on the bench, because with too many guards, we're going to be undersized and not be able to defend. And Blazers fans like me are getting flashbacks from the Dame and CJ era, where you have 2 small guards in the backcourt and not enough wings in order to defend other teams, and that's how you fall short every single season. However, I think that the roster how it is right now is actually pretty good, and that the 5 guards will all work together, and I will explain to you exactly why. You just have to bear with me. Let's get into it. If you guys remember, at the start of last season, before the season even started in training camp, Scoot Henderson went down with a hamstring tear. And with Dame already recovering from an Achilles tear, that really hurt the Blazers point guard room. So the Blazers point guard depth was already down to Drew Holiday and Blake Wesley at the start of the NBA season, not looking good. And 6 games in, Blake Wesley would actually break his foot, leaving the only point guard left on the roster to be Drew Holiday. And a couple weeks after that, Drew Holiday would suffer with a calf strain, leaving the Blazers with 0 point guards. And as you can see from the wins and losses from these games, missing Drew right after the injury, it was a lot of L's for the Blazers. And the team had to rely on a 2-way Caleb Love to come in and play point guard with Denny Avdia, who's a forward, in order to get some point guard minutes on the roster. We were down to our last options at point guard here. And during these games when Drew Holiday was out, along with Scoot and Dame, and Blake Wesley had a broken foot, the Blazers were losing so many games, and they were dropping quickly back into the lottery and away from play-in contention early in the season. So I hope I make my first point very clear, that I feel like the Blazers need guard depth on the team in case of an injury, so they don't fall into what happened last season with having 0 guards available to play besides a 2-way. And I love Damian Lillard and Ja Morant as much as the next guy. I'm huge fans of both of these players, but if you're expecting both of them to come out this next season and play 82 games, I mean, you're insane. Especially Ja Morant. The most games he's ever played in a season was 67, and that was during the bubble year when there wasn't even 82 games in the season. And I know he's missed some games for suspension as well and not injury, but overall his injury history is really scary. And so trading away guard depth when you have a player like Ja Morant on your team, I feel like is a bad idea. And yes, I know Dame has been in the lab every single day this offseason to rehab that Achilles injury, but you can never be too safe. You cannot expect him to go out there and play every single game this season coming off an injury like an Achilles tear. And so having your backup point guards be Scoot Henderson and Drew Holiday, you were looking absolutely amazing in case of an injury to Dame or Ja, or maybe even both. You have these 2 players coming off who had the highest rating in a 5-man roster when they were both at guard last season. So yes, now the next question to answer is, when the roster is healthy, what is it going to look like with all 5 of these guards in rotation? Well, honestly, I feel like it's not as bad as everyone's making it out to be. Yes, while Drew Holiday is a point guard at heart, he has the perfect player archetype to be an off-ball catch-and-shoot 3 and D wing right next to Dame or Ja on the court. And yes, I know Drew Holiday is only 6'4". I'm not asking him to play power forward or center. I'm just saying he could easily slide down to the 2 and very occasionally maybe the 3 on the court with Ja and Dame. I mean, we've literally seen Drew in Boston get the Joel Embiid assignment for an entire half. This guy can definitely guard players that are bigger than him. I don't know why everyone's forgetting about that. Next, we have Scoot Henderson, who I think can just be a classic backup point guard for this team. When Dame or Ja is coming off the court, you can put in Scoot, who's a traditional point guard, and also he's gotten a lot better on defense. And he's shown us what he can do off ball. Catch and shoot 3s are now almost automatic for Scoot, and coming in with a player like Dame and Ja next to him, he could easily get those catch and shoot 3 looks looks a lot better, and he's no longer a liability on defense, proving it in the playoffs that he can actually lock up and be a positive defender. So now that leaves the last guard to talk about, Shaedon Sharpe, who a lot of people are putting as kind of the odd guard out and the one that should be traded if the team was to make any trades, but I don't think they should trade him. In my opinion, Shaedon is a traditional 2 guard. I don't really think he can play the 1 or the 3 very well. If he was going to move to any other position, it would be the 3, but his lack of defense is honestly what keeps him from doing that. And that's honestly what kept him off the court in the playoffs against the Spurs. In these super short stint minutes, he was pretty good on offense, but there was too many defensive lapses to keep him out there against a team like the Spurs. But the Blazers have other guard options to bring in for defense, like we just discussed with Drew Holiday and Scoot Henderson, so Sharpe should never be coming in for defense, only offense. And like we said earlier in the video, he's a 21 point per game scorer. Oh my goodness, this guy is an elite scorer from all 3 levels. That 3-pointer can get a lot better. He actually improved a lot throughout the season, but I think that when he's coming in, he's only going to be going in to get buckets on this team. Now let's talk about the actual forwards on this team, the position that everyone thinks needs more depth, that doesn't have enough players on it. Let's talk about the players that are already there. Toumani Camara, nicknamed the Box, one of the best defenders in the NBA, all defensive second team 2 years ago, got snubbed from all NBA first team this last year. He's one of the best defenders in the league, and he played 82 games. When you're talking about forwards you would want to put on a team with Ja and Dame, Toumani is probably one of the best ones. He's a catch and shoot 3-point shooter, and he's an elite defender. He can catch lobs. He is perfect for this team. Now, Deni Avdija, the name that everybody knows now after being an all-star last season, we didn't really get to see his defensive presence last season because his offensive load was so high. But now with Ja and Dame coming back to the team, his offensive load is obviously going to be a lot lower than it was last year. And if you guys remember, back in Washington, Deni's defense was actually one of the attributes that kept him on the court. At 6'8", 228, it's clear that he has the body to be an elite defender, and I feel like we're going to see that a lot more next season with Dame and Ja taking most of the offensive load. And now the question that everyone's going to be asking, who is going to be backing up these 2 forwards on this team? Because if the depth is really bad when they're off the court, how is the defense going to look? Let's start with Matisse Thybulle, a player with one of the best defensive instincts in the league, multiple-time all-defensive member, and also a good 3-point shooter. If the Blazers can re-sign him, that's an amazing start to the forward depth issue. And yes, I know Matisse Thybulle is only 6'5", so he's probably going to be playing the backup 3 a lot more than anything else. So who is going to be that backup 4? Well, stay with me here, but I actually like this guy. Sidy Cissoko. Now, if you're a Blazers fan, you know exactly who this is. If you're not, you're probably like, who the hell are you talking about? Well, let's get into his game and why I feel like he can be a good backup 4 for this team. Now, believe it or not, but he actually played in 75 games last year, starting in 26 of them. Yes, this guy was a key piece to the team. And now, I'm not saying he's a superstar or anything, but look at this stat. Leaders in offensive fouls drawn. Obviously, Toumani number 1. Look at Sidy Cissoko with 50 fouls drawn in only 1,400 minutes. That's so many less minutes than anyone else on this list. He is elite at this. He plays with such a high motor, and if anyone's going to win the Hustle Award on this team, if it's not Toumani, it's going to be this guy. He plays like it's life or death out there on the basketball court, and I absolutely love it. And while his offense is basically non-existent, just like how Shaedon only comes in for offense, I feel like Sidy is only going to come in for defense. You don't need him to do anything on offense when you have Deni, Ja, Dame, Shaedon on the court. All Sidy has to do is go out there and lock up. Also, if there was any center room in the entire NBA that would make up for a lack of size at the guard position, it's going to be the Blazers center room with Donovan Clingan and Robert Williams III. I feel like people are forgetting when Dame and CJ were playing in Portland, their center was Yusuf Nurkic and Enes Kanter, and both of those players have no comparison to Clingan or Robert Williams' defensive presence. I mean, Clingan literally led the entire NBA in total rebounds, and he's easily the best offensive rebounder in the NBA. He is the perfect center if you have 2 bad defensive undersized guards. You throw Clingan in the paint and he makes up for so much of that. And Robert Williams also, his injury problems weren't really that apparent last season. He is an amazing backup center, and I honestly think he can play some backup 4 as well. We saw him do that last season, so he's another center forward that you can throw in on this team. And again, he's an elite defender as well. So what I'm trying to say is if you needed any players in the NBA to help you make up for a lack of size and defense at the guard position, position, Tumani, Denny, Matisse Thybulle, City Sissoko, Robert Williams, and Donovan Clingan are almost the perfect personnel to have to make up for that. And Dame and Ja being injury prone, you need some backup guard depth that are actually good, competent guards to come in and make up for that if they do deal with any injuries. That's why I feel like this roster for the Blazers is a lot better than people think, and we don't need any dramatic trades. But let me know what you guys think in the comment. Please like, please subscribe, please hype the video. I love you all. Peace.